What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with 7 reasons to buy the OnePlus Nord N30 5G. So without further ado, let's get started. Now there's a lot of things to like about the OnePlus Nord N30 5G. This device is meant to be a more affordable smartphone, but at the same time, it delivers a lot of awesome features, so there really aren't too many compromises if you do choose to have this be your smartphone. Now the first thing I want to highlight here with this device is that we're getting a very large battery along with very fast charging. So the battery with this phone is 5,000 milliamp hours, so a very large battery which will easily give you a day, if not multiple days of usage. But also, with that large battery, you can recharge it very rapidly, considering that this phone is compatible with 50-watt Super VOOC fast charging. So it's very rare to even find fast charging with phones in this segment, but the fact that this phone can recharge at up to 50 watts makes it even more impressive. But to make things even better, we're also getting that charger included. So not only do we get this really cool red USB-C cable, but also we do get the Super VOOC fast charger right here. So by using this fast charger with this cable, with this device, you're able to recharge it very quickly. The next thing I find impressive with this phone is the amount of storage that we're getting. So with the OnePlus Nord N30 5G, we're getting 128 gigs of storage along with microSD card expansion. Now for most people, I feel like 128 gigs will be plenty, and it is possible that you might have a phone right now with less storage and you want a phone that's a solid upgrade related to that, then this phone might be ideal for you. So I definitely recommend looking at your phone's storage right now and then seeing how much of that storage you're using and then compare that to this phone. So maybe your current phone has a capacity of 64 gigs and you find yourself using 40 gigs of that, then just know that you'll have a lot of extra space here with this phone. But in addition to that, if you do find yourself filling up a lot of that internal storage, then at least you do have the option to add in a microSD card to offload photos and videos, for example, to free things up. So overall, I'm really glad that we are getting as much storage as we are with the OnePlus Nord N30 5G. Another awesome thing with this device is that it features NFC. Now, if you're not familiar with NFC, that's the technology used for mobile contactless payments to do tap and pay. So you can go to a point of sale with this phone and then basically tap and make your payment. So believe it or not, even at this point in 2023, there are many lower end phones that don't have NFC. Now, I know for a fact that to include NFC on any smartphone, it really doesn't cost too much for the company to do that. So if phones don't have NFC, then it's simply just a choice to not include it. So I'm glad that it's here. And I really feel like that's a feature that no matter what level of smartphone you're using, it is very important because nowadays almost every payment terminal is compatible with tap and pay. And I know for any phone that I use that supports NFC, I do find myself using that feature quite a bit. And even beyond payments, it's useful for other things too. Like if you have tickets for a sporting event or something like that. As time goes on, there's more and more ways that NFC is being implemented into many parts of our lives. Now the next thing I want to highlight with this phone is the awesome display that we're getting here. Now with the OnePlus Nord N30 5G, we're getting a very large 6.72-inch display. Now this display features an IPS LCD panel, and it also has a 120Hz refresh rate. So a very fast and smooth refresh rate here with the device, giving it a very premium feel. And in fact, this phone looks and feels a lot more expensive than it even is. And I remember it wasn't too long ago that if you wanted a smartphone with a 120Hz refresh rate, you'd have to go for something a lot more expensive. And when that feature was first introduced, you'd only find it with phones that were like $1,000. So the fact that this phone's a fraction of that price and has that is really awesome, and it's always great to see premium features making their way over to affordable smartphones. Now beyond that, this display is 1080p, so very crisp and clear. We're getting a PPI of 391, a 20:9 aspect ratio, so a more narrow but taller form factor, and we're getting a 91.4% screen to body ratio. So pretty small bezels all throughout, and then we are also getting a hole punch for the front facing camera. Another great thing with the OnePlus Nord N30 5G is that we are getting a 3.5mm headphone jack. Now in 2023, I know many people do use Bluetooth headphones, which is one of the reasons why we're seeing the headphone jack included less and less often. But at the same time, there's really no downside to having the headphone jack. So by having it be included here, there's really no downsides to that. And I do still have quite a few pairs of headphones that are kind of the standard wired headphones. So it is great that I am actually able to use those here with this device. And way back with the iPhone 7, Apple was one of the first major companies to not include the headphone jack. And I remember back then, people really weren't too happy about that. And even now in present day, many people still miss the headphone jack on premium devices. So it's kind of interesting how if you go more lower end with a phone like this one, you start gaining features that you can't even find with more expensive devices. Another awesome thing about this device is the fingerprint sensor. Now the fingerprint sensor is located on the power button, and it's very fast and responsive, so you can very easily get into the phone, and you don't have to deal with any sort of frustrations related to the fingerprint sensor being slow, or maybe not even picking up your fingerprint. So I'm glad that works really well. And then finally, I'm really happy that with the OnePlus Nord N30 5G, we do have stereo audio. So what I mean by that is, we're getting audio out of both the main speaker and the bottom of the phone, but then also the earpiece. Now typically, you only find that with more premium devices, maybe $500 and up, so the fact that we're getting that here is very impressive. Now with other lower end, more affordable smartphones, we do still have an earpiece, but that's only used for actual phone calls. So having two speakers to emit audio when watching videos or listening to music, for example, really gives a much more immersive, higher quality audio listening experience. The phone's also a lot louder because of that, and also the audio itself is very clear. So this concludes my video on my top 7 favorite things about the OnePlus Nord N30 5G. Overall, I think this phone is an excellent value, and it's really awesome that we're now getting more premium features making their way over to more affordable smartphones. I remember it wasn't too long ago that if you wanted to get a device in this particular segment, you'd have to deal with a lot of different compromises and you'd be missing out on a lot of features that you'd have to spend a lot more money to get. So while there still are plenty of reasons to spend a lot more and more premium phones, you're still getting a lot here with this device. Now I do have a dedicated pros and cons video for this phone, as this video obviously was more showing my favorite things about it, but really the biggest downside with this phone is that the processor could be a bit faster. But if that processor was much faster and maybe the cameras were slightly more premium, then this phone really would measure up very well to phones that are quite a bit more expensive than this one actually is. But most importantly, I'm really curious to know what you think about the OnePlus Nord N30 5G. Do you feel like this phone's a good value, or do you feel like they should have packed in even more features? I'm really curious to know what you think. But this is Kevin here, this is the OnePlus Nord N30 5G, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and have a great rest of your day.